Guys, James here today and welcome back to another Sims 4 house building video. Today we are creating a house for my Let's Play for my Seasons Rags to Riches. This is going to be the final house they move into. We're saving up a bunch of money for it, or essentially building a big mansion for that family, which as we go through the video, we'll talk about it a little bit more. More shall unfold. But to start off with, I asked originally on Twitter, because I chose 4 different houses. Well, actually, I asked what kind of house you wanted to see me build, because we were always going to build a big, like, sort of farmhouse in Windenburg on the 64 by 64 lot. And really just take up as much of it as we can, because we were running out of room in Willow Creek. We had like some, I think 30 by 40 lot, and we had no room, especially because I think we have 4 kids, and then obviously the 2 parents, and then we have a dog as well. So we needed more space, and they're all about like sort of growing flowers and flower arranging and all that kind of stuff. So we needed a nice big farm, and they're kind of semi-hippie people too. So we wanted to be a little bit out there. Anyway, so I asked on Twitter, you know, what kind of houses you wanted me to build. You guys sent me a bunch of pictures. Out of those, I chose 4 houses. Then from those, I asked you guys which of the 4 you wanted me to build. I got you to vote. And then this was the winning house. So we're building it to basically look pretty much like the picture that you can see. Where, like, at least the facade. The front of the house is going to look like this. And then obviously everything else, the interior, the back of the house, pretty much everything that is not in this picture is going to be different. Although I do change the front a little bit too. But I did notice, because I posted a house tour of this build the other day, because I've already finished this. I built this whole thing. I already finished it. I didn't want to start posting this before I'd finished it, because I'd probably just pull the classic never completing it if I did that. But it's already finished. It's completed. And we're going to be moving into it in the Let's Play soon. But yeah, I posted a house tour the other day, and then people were like, can you change the bricks? Can you change the the exterior? Why is the door like that? And I'm like, well, it's because we based it off of a picture. Like, it's supposed to look exactly like the picture that we use for the reference. That's why also some of the brick colors are actually different. So each of the, because obviously we have it's a very symmetrical exterior design, obviously, but I guess it kind of looks like, you know, if you had like three or so different houses that were joined together, because you have like the sort of middle section of a different brick color, then it sort of joins in between the two. Like, it would probably be built at different points in time or something along those lines, is what I would imagine anyway. Like, it was built like sort of separately, or it was aged differently on different parts of it. So we have the different sort of brick tones here and there. Now, I did originally put this house up on foundation because it kind of looked like there was maybe like a step up to the house in the photo. And like I said, I was trying to recreate it as much as I could. And this was me just centering the lot, by the way. So I built the whole thing, then I made sure it was actually in the center. Obviously not forward and backward, but just left or right, because we do need to have like the front garden area. And there's also this separate little workshop area. Well, I don't know what it actually is in the real house, but I imagine this would be like a little separate workshop or a shed kind of thing, like a tool shed or something. Now, it's a little bit bigger than what it looks like in the picture, because you can't do... If I could have done like a half level, I probably would have, as in like... because it's too tall. Like, I would have just done one level of it as well, but we really wanted to do... because if you don't know, I was streaming pretty much this entire build over on Twitch. So there was I got a bunch of feedback along the way, and I really wanted to do a loft in the workshop area. So we needed to do 2 levels. Like, there was just no way I could do that with 1 level. I mean, I could do the weird sort of glitchy move objects thing with it if I wanted, and just make everything float, but it just wouldn't work very well. So anyways, it's 2 levels. It's a little bit bigger than what it actually was, but I think it worked out quite well. I think it looks really, really good in the end, and actually gives us a lot of space to work with and a lot of things that we can do. So yeah, I'm using those because I was looking for ages to find doors that sort of look... I don't know why. It really didn't matter that much, but I really wanted that boring... standard like green door, though I think I actually had, like, I think in the I don't have the picture up now, but obviously it was on the screen before. In the actual house, I think I had like a dark green door and then like a white frame for the door, and I was trying to find that, but I don't think that existed. There was just no door that had that. I think we had black doors with the white frame, or a white door with a black frame. I can't remember. It was one of them. And then this is me trying to play with the roof. I was like, can I make it a little bit smaller? But I couldn't, because if you've been watching the Let's Play, we currently have 4 kids. From oldest to youngest, we have Raggy, who is a teenager. She is all about physical activity. She loves the dog, the family dog. She takes care of him, etc. Then we have Richie, who is also a teenager, but he's pretty nerdy. He's a bit of a geek, but he's trying to be cool. He wants to be cool at school, but he's just not. You know, it's like that typical person trying to pretend to be cool. Then we have Lady Big Wallet the second, who she's a child at the moment, and for no reason in particular, I don't like her. It's just that thing. If you've ever watched my Let's Plays, it's just that thing where I've just decided I don't like her for no reason. But yeah, anyway, that's her. Because I feel like she's kind of useless. She doesn't do a lot. And you know, that's just who she is. Anyway, and then we have the last child that was just born. It's currently a baby. Is Lord Big Wallet, and I don't know. He's nothing yet. He's nothing. Yeah, so he's a baby. Anyway, so my point of telling you that was that in the workshop, the loft area is going to become Lady Big Wallet's bedroom. She's gonna sleep in the workshop. She's a bit of the rejected child in the family. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually so this whole area is supposed to be like the driveway for the house, because if you saw in the picture, that these big curved sections of driveway, and you can see I'm actually building it because I know a lot of people asked about this. I'm using just these sort of floor pieces in the flooring category, where you actually can just place down a big curved piece that comes with the fence. Then all you do is remove the fence, and then you have flooring in a perfect curve, which is really good for something like this because it makes it look extremely manicured and perfectly curved. Because if you just use terrain paint, it doesn't look as neat. And I did try doing that. So at the moment, this is all raised up off the ground on foundation, which I pretty much change, I think soon, because I was originally, you can see here's where the issue comes up. And we had this issue before when we were doing the Let's Play, in that we tried to do like a driveway that raises up to foundation, and there's not really any good way to do it. And you'll see me trying to figure it out. Also, I was trying to visually sort of continue the road there. You can see sort of that road comes in diagonally. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But then I was like, I don't know how to, I don't know how to sort of get this driveway to work in a way that makes sense. Like there's no like inner curve that we could do. The only way, I guess the way you could do it is if you did curved grass pieces and then overlaid it, I don't know if that makes sense, but it just didn't look good. And then here I'm trying to figure out, it's like, how do I make a ramp? I did actually just cut it all out, and you might see it, but I actually just used a roof piece, and it's sort of like, you can see it a little bit here. It sort of curves up and over. It almost looks like a bit of a speed bump, but the problem is, I think it's almost using the exact same color as the floor tiles. Like if I put that roof texture on where the flooring is, it's the same color, but the roof just appears darker. So then when I did that, you can see it's just this big dark patch that looks like a weird speed bump thing. I'm like, well, that's just not going to work. Now these fences, really, really good for this house. I was like, these are perfect. And I got these from the buy debug menu, which I think I assume I have a tutorial on this on my channel somewhere. I don't use it very often in my builds, and I don't really know why. I just never really do it. So there's a whole bunch of hidden items in the game that if you enter a couple of cheat codes, they will appear. They're mostly items that you'll find around the worlds, or like that your Sims will use in their hands. So for example, I put later on in the house when we do furnishing, not in this video, but I put a plunger down, and I don't even know where they use a plunger in the game, but it'll be something that's from the hand. And I also put down a fire extinguisher, which your Sims will use when they're putting out a fire, for example, but you can actually just get that item with a cheat and just place it down, which is really cool. So it means there's a lot more items, a lot more like sort of clutter and decorations that we can put in. And that's where I got that fence from, because I was like, that's a really good looking fence for this particular house. I thought that fit really, really well. So I went along with it. Now we're doing we're just getting a few more windows here, because I think these two little rooms were supposed to have like small windows. I was just trying to figure out the facade, because it's and I actually really like it about this house. Like the house looks large. Obviously it looks quite large, and it's on a huge lot, but it looks kind of like unassuming, and it looks really just, it's nothing too special on the inside. And that's what I really liked about it. And actually that was something, one of the comments, not one of the comments, but some of the comments I got is like, the front door, why is the front door so like, it's just so lame? But that's kind of the point. And that's also what the original house looked like as well. So we kept it really, really basic. And I actually really like the look of it. And so at the moment, like we have this big empty sort of a driveway space, and it's going to be, I don't add too much to it. I obviously add, I don't know if I add the fountain in this video or not. This is a long build, by the way. This took over 20 hours in total. And then I think I have like 14 hours of build mode footage. So there was like 6 hours that I just didn't do because it took me ages to do certain things and I just didn't record. So, it's a whole thing. But it's just a real passion project, this build, and getting it all put together. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And we had a whole bunch of fun over on Twitch as well, which, by the way, you should follow me on Twitch if you don't already, because I might be doing some more streams. Or you can go on my Discord, because I just set up a thing on my Discord that will alert you. Like, will just alert everyone as soon as I go live on Discord, or also on Twitter. Well, I mean, Twitter just tweets, so if you don't have notifications on, that's not really going to help. But Discord will notify you if you have like the server notifications on or something like that. Okay, so I think we are going around to the back of the house now. I think I've essentially finished the basic house, like the exterior of it, like the main body of the house, like if that makes sense. But there's still loads to do outside, obviously, because we're only 10 minutes into this 30-minute video. This whole video is just the exterior and landscaping, so there's a lot more. Buckle up. So the rear of the house, we obviously have to have a greenhouse, because this family, like I said, was all about gardening, growing flowers, flower arranging. And when we move, I really want to have a place that we can still do all that. But I didn't want it to be nearly as big as it was in the Let's Play, and we don't need to grow that much anymore, because really all we need are orchids, because they earn the most money very, very easily. So we're going to have 8 orchid plants, because they only grow 1 orchid per day per plant if they're inside. And we're going to be growing them inside. So we're going to get 8 of those. We get 8 every day. That should be more than enough. Then I'm also having space for some birds of paradise plants, because those are quite useful as well. And then we're going to keep the crocus, because those, when we scent flowers with crocus, do the bee calming effect on the flower arrangement. So if you put them down next to a bee box, the bees will not be enraged. They'll be calm. So we're going to keep the crocus. Then we're going to also grow bluebells, because when you scent flowers with those, then you get the timeless effect. So they will never go off. They'll never deteriorate. So we want to keep them timeless. Although, having said that, one of the flowers in my Let's Play did eventually go off. And I don't know if it's just because I forgot to scent it, or maybe they just go off after like a week or something instead of like a day. No, you know what? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, and then we're also going to grow the death flowers, because, I mean, why not? Because we were using those to bring back... okay, if you don't watch the Let's Play, you really should, because it's pretty great. No, we added in Benedict Cumberbatch into one of the episodes. And then I promptly killed him off in a fire incident. Oh dear, it was truly an accident, I swear. Anyway, then the last few, like maybe 5 or 6 episodes, or however long it's been, we've been trying to bring him back. So I was using the death flowers to make ambrosia and get him to eat it. So we're going to keep the death flowers around in case we need to bring people back with more ambrosia. So those are the flowers that are going to be growing there. So the reason of me telling you that is that's why the sort of greenhouse is a little bit smaller. But then we have this huge farm area here that I'm sort of planning out. And I put down those lines because this is where stuff's going to grow. So I decided to do in this area, you guys actually really wanted to see me grow some sunflowers. Obviously, sunflowers, you can't actually grow as a flower, but they have them in the build mode catalog. So this whole farm is going to be completely decorative, because if this is all actual produce and flowers and stuff that we could properly grow, the amount of work we'd have to do to actually water them, weed them, all that kind of stuff, spray for bugs, it would literally be the only thing we ever did on this lot, because there's just way too many. So what I did instead is we're just using all these sort of plants and stuff from the build mode catalog, so then it is purely just decorative. It all just is, it's just decorative, it's there to look good. And now, so these flowers are obviously really quite short for sunflowers, because I believe sunflowers can get up to like 2 meters high or something. But they're just growing. They're just beginning to grow. It's the beginning of the sunflower season, which is almost any time, I feel. I feel like they grow all the time. I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, so we got to discuss some... And also, if I put the really tall ones in there, it really looked weird. So I kept them shorter. Also, the shorter sunflowers, they came in sets of 3 instead of 1. So I could place less. Because here's the thing. We're placing so many items on this lot. If we can minimize the amount of items we're placing, that'll be better. And then, the rest of this area, I'm just doing various different flowers from the build mode catalog here. Ignore the dirt strips on the ground. That was the original plan. I've obviously since changed it with the way I'm planting them. So I am going to fix up the terrain painting in a second. But I really love the sunflower patch. I think it's pretty cool. So we're just sort of painting that up. And then, so this is basically what we're doing for the farm. And I think it actually turns out really, really well in the end. I'm super super happy with it. And then you can see, obviously, just next to the farm there, we have all those trees and like sort of shrubbery. I really like that as well because it looked like a really nice natural sort of just like foliage and growth around the farm. This is supposed to be this old English estate home in the countryside in like some really nice like meadows or something like that around surrounding area. So it'd be really, really lush. And that's what I'm trying to do with it. And I think it looks really good. So what we're doing here, we're using this whole area because I was going to do more flowers, but I'm like, okay, number one, there's actually not that many different types of flowers in the catalog. So that would get really repetitive really quickly. Number two, we'd have to place a lot more of them. And like I was saying just a minute ago, the number of items we already have to place in this lot is huge. So if we can reduce that in any way, super helpful. So I'm doing it this way. So instead we're doing an orchard. And for this is what I think this actually looks really cool. So we're just doing this whole area as an orchard, and then it actually allows something that's a lot of fun. And if you watch the house tour, you'll know what I'm gonna be doing. So just, get excited. There's something really, really cool we do with the orchard. Well, really cool or really cheeky or really silly. I don't know. One of the above. You decide. Yeah. So I'm trying to do all different trees here because obviously I didn't want to do the whole orchard in one type of tree because I thought, again, that would probably just end up looking really repetitive. So I think doing it this way actually worked out quite well. So I was trying to figure out the spacing here. So I just have to move the trees around. So I thought we'd do 3 rows of the tree in the middle, and then we just have 2 rows either side. And then that actually worked out quite well without no issues. And I believe this is the moment I came up with the idea. Well, I don't think I came up with it. To be honest, I don't think I came up with the idea. I think it was someone in Twitch chat. They're like, you should have a patch of plants that you can use recreationally. So we decided to put some bamboo in here. And the story behind it, as the story goes, obviously the Big Wallet family, they've lived in Willow Creek and they've lived on an island before, but they've never lived in the countryside of Windenburg. So they really love bamboo, though. They're a big fan of bamboo. But as we all know, bamboo is almost like an environmental concern because it can spread a lot and really, really quickly. For example, here in Australia, and just to be clear, I'm actually talking about real bamboo at this exact moment. I think here in Australia, it's like you got to be careful with bamboo and make sure it doesn't spread. Okay, now back to air quotes, bamboo. So here in Windenburg, the neighbors, they're pretty heavily against that kind of stuff, against bamboo. And they really don't want people to know that it's there. It's for the big wallets. The neighborhood is very disapproving. So we thought we'd put it in the middle of the orchard, would hide it away. So you just can't see it. So thankfully the bamboo is hidden. No one can see it. And the big wallets can sort of go on happily about doing their own thing, not bothering anyone else. I think that's kind of the thing. It's like, as long as you do your own thing and keep out of my face, then we'll be friends. And I think that's who the big wallets are. Get out of my face and we'll be friends. So this is the rear, I guess, patio area, or it's not really, I was going to say porch. It's not a porch. Definitely like a sort of outdoor patio area that connects the rear of the house to the greenhouse and to the farm. And then, of course, on a house this big and a plot this big, we had to have a pool. So I decided to do a diagonal pool sort of coming away from where that curve is. I think it took me a while to position the pool where I wanted it. Like you can see, I'm just like, I don't know where I want this. I mean, I think here I'm trying to like line up the pool. I could put it over to the left, because here's the other thing. I really wanted to have a large lawn area, because in the previous house, or I guess previous houses, we had pretty good sized houses, but the actual garden and the lawn space that we had was really, really small, and it was like really limited. So in this one, I wanted to maximize the amount of just grass that we had, because there were so many different activities that we're putting down. Like it'd be cool to occasionally, because here's the thing with seasons, obviously there's seasonal things, so it'd be cool to be able to have enough room to put down the slip and slide in summer. Obviously the roller rink would be cool, like the smaller roller rink, and then we could even put down the ice rink in winter. This, like, having room to put those things down on our own lot, I think would be really, really cool. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to make sure we had enough space to be able to fit all this stuff in. Now this thing here, I really, really love this, but this took me 1,000 years to build. And if you were watching the live stream, Oh my god. So a lot of this area, I believe I cut out. But yeah, so I wanted to have like a little pergola over the pool because I thought that'd be cool. And it adds just a little bit more detail to the area in that it's not just a pool with nothing going on. And also it gives you a bit of shade over the pool and it's quite nice. I really quite like it. So this is the sort of, this is really, really quick, even for being sped up. Like this is really quick. It took us ages to figure out how to do this because the issue is it's on a diagonal. So when we were trying to do like walls, I was going to use walls as columns, but they were way too big. And then I was going to use, obviously we just did those columns just there, but they didn't really work well on a diagonal, and oh my god, it was a nightmare to figure that out. So I'm glad that you guys just saw that happen in about 30 seconds. And then I think I actually moved the whole thing. And the amount I remember when I did it and I was moving the sort of pergola, I moved the whole pool actually. Actually, I did it a few times. I moved it over there. Oh god, yeah, I did it a few times, and then I moved the pool because I wanted the pool to line up with the curve of the patio, which I think looks a lot better. So I moved it over, and because it's all separate pieces, like the roofs, and all the sort of fencing, all those sort of little beams that we have in the middle, it was a bit of a nightmare. So I moved it there, and then I moved it further back because we eventually put in a hot tub out here. Because I mean, how can we have a huge mansion with a swimming pool without a hot tub? You know what I mean? Like you can't. So we had to then add that in afterwards, and yeah. Anyway, so here I was trying to figure out how to join it. I was gonna because we couldn't. The problem is you can't join because the curved flooring is really, really cool, but you can't join other flooring to it. So I decided to just do I think we just did some landscaping. Like the pool is not supposed to be, I was considering doing like a fenced off pool, but then it really closed in the size of the garden. It made the garden feel really, really small. And I think we go back over the pool soon. Yeah, here we go. It made it feel really, really small. So instead I just did like a little bit of like hedging out the front, and then it's basically just open. I mean, look, regulation wise, probably not a good idea. Regulations, you probably have to have a fence, but it's The Sims, and there's no regulations, so screw regulations. Anyway, so we just did a little bit of paving stones here, and then I sort of bordered it with some plants, and then I think here we actually dive into doing just a lot of landscaping. I basically do almost all the landscaping in this house before we even start like the layout. We just do all the plants and all that, which I think it was fun. It was really good. I think because it gave me a good feel, and it gave me a bit of character to the house before I started furnishing it. Like we don't even have an interior floor plan yet. It's just empty. But I think doing all the landscaping and getting all the look and feel of the exterior helped me do the inside, because it's supposed to be this big sort of country family home, but that could mean anything. Like that could be some modern house. It could be. Oh, actually, that was quite funny. There was a comment. There was a comment the other day on the house tour that was like, "I think this house is too modern for the family." And then I'm just like, what? Wait, what? I'm like, what video are you watching? How is this house modern? And then they're just like, oh, no, modern's not the right word. But I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, it's just the wrong word. But yeah, I was like, how is this modern? I think I kind of get what they meant though. I think maybe it was just like a little too, I guess it is a bit here and now-ish. I don't know how to describe it. I know what they mean. Like it's too like present day. It should be like, I guess not artifacts, that's also the wrong word, but little trinkets and bits and bobs collected over the years and sort of more mix and matchy, I guess, with the interior. But obviously we'll talk about more about the interior once we get to it. I really, really love it, and I think it turned out fantastically, and I think it's a really good fit for the family. And I'm super excited for you guys to see how it all comes together, rather than just obviously seeing the tour. You can see the entire house. You can see how it is, how it's finished. But I think seeing how we got to that point and how many changes we went through just to get there is really, really interesting. And it was a lot of fun. Oh, and by the way, if you do want to watch the entire build, you can. It's all on my Twitch. I highlighted all of it. I think it's in like 6 different live streams totaling, like I said, like 20 hours or something, 19 hours of live streaming. Actually, yeah, I think it was like 19 hours. Or 18 hours of live streaming. So if you do want to watch it all in real time, you can do it. It's available. I think some of them do have a few muted sections because of some audio, but most of it's there. So here next to the greenhouse, I know I kind of just glossed over that whole table section, but I was talking about something else. Here over by the greenhouse, I put the clothesline. I don't know how often we'll use a clothesline, but I was like, we got to have a clothesline if we're going to do laundry. So that's going there. And later on, when we do the floor plan and the layout, it'll make a bit more sense because it's kind of just in the middle of nowhere at the moment. But also, right now, I'm building a little conservatory or a little sunroom. Basically, just a little extension to the back of the house that has like a nice glass roof that lets in a bunch of light. So basically, this, I think I've heard also people describe it as like a little mud room. Basically, a room that's added onto the house where you can change your shoes and you can also sit in there and just enjoy the sun, that kind of stuff. And it's super bright. Like, it's really bright. Like, if you look at it now, like, it's just super sunny. And I think it's really cool because I left that exterior brick wall of the house because I was actually going to use it. I was going to make it like part of like a living room or something, but it just really didn't make sense to do that with the floor plan. So we kind of just went with the floor. It's a little bit different. It's kind of just like like I said, like a little mud room or something like that. Basically, a room where you change your shoes. You don't, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Cool. And then so this is a little undercover barbecue area, which I think undergoes a lot of changes. Not by a lot. I mean, like where the barbecue is and the roof and all that, but nothing too crazy. Now, one big thing I wanted to do with this house, because it is going to be a Let's Play house. So once we move into this house, I'm actually going to be starting a new Let's Play because we do have, obviously, the Seasons Rags to Riches, which this house is the ultimate goal of. But obviously, once we get there, we've sort of completed that series. So we'll be starting a new Let's Play. With the same family, obviously, but continue on in a different sort of path and goal. And yeah, so one of the big things, I wanted to make sure there was a lot of activities around the house. And just a lot of gameplay things to actually do, as opposed to just looking good. So, for example, over here, we have a campfire that's sort of hidden away. Then obviously we have the swimming pool. We have Patchy over in the farm. And I don't know if I added it in here, but I do add in like the wishing well in the farm as well. And just like a lot of things like that. And that was actually when we get into the interior as well. That was kind of one of the plans with the whole interior was every room should be used. Like it should be useful. It's a really big house, but I wanted to make sure we actually used every room rather than just having a really big house with an art gallery room. Like that's cool. And I think that could be fun to add on those things. But for now, for starters, for this lot, I wanted every room to be used. So it means like every room typically in the build later on will have unique gameplay elements that you'll have to go to that room for. Obviously, each of the bedrooms are technically the same in terms of gameplay, but you know what I mean? They each have their own room, and then we do, every other room has a different use and different gameplay associated with it. And I was just basically trying to do as many different things as possible that we can sort of visit and check out as we play. And this is one of them. And I thought this was really cool. So I just put it in like this little sort of shrubbery area. So I guess I wouldn't say wooded area because it's not really wood. There's just a bunch of trees and shrubs around it. So I just sort of surrounded it like that. It was a nice little getaway, a little closed away. It'd be nice and quiet. That was the idea. Now, we can't have an old English countryside home without it covered in vines. Like, we got to have a bunch of vines everywhere. Not the 6-second video, but the plant. So I didn't go too crazy with it because it honestly didn't need it. I think I was trying to just put in different trees and that here and there. I think that worked well. I basically tried to do vines, I think on the lower level, and we did get quite a lot of them in there. But I wasn't. If there was more sizes of the vines, I know we have like 1,000 different wall vines. Well, we don't. We have like, I don't know, 10 maybe. But we need thinner ones that can fit between windows and all that, because that would be really, really handy. You can scale them down, but then they get like the leaf sizes change and all that. Like I was trying to, if we could get like, that's the other thing I really want in this game. I came up with so many good ideas during this build, mostly because of inconveniences that I experienced while building this. And I was like, it'd be so good if we had this. I really wanted, and this is something that I have wanted forever. And I think like a lot of people, if you've ever thought about it, just having a wall that isn't one tile long, like maybe half a tile long. So useful, infinitely useful if the wall was half a tile long, just slightly smaller wall segments would be great. Or, it's kind of hard to explain, but obviously if you do a diagonal wall at the moment, it goes diagonally across one tile. But instead, if you could go diagonally across 2x1 tiles. So you go across 2 tiles, but you only go up 1, if that makes sense. So it's like less of a diagonal wall. So that would also be cool. But yeah, I think there's so many things that I'm like, that'd be really cool. But then you realistically, if you start thinking about how it would have to work, you'd like, this is probably never going to happen. Like the other idea that I was like, this would be really, really cool and so useful, but I don't think it would work with the way the game is. So I was like, it'd be cool if wallpaper was like, you could do wallpaper overlays. So basically, let's say you have a base wallpaper. Let's just say it's like, I don't know, a blue, it's just blue paint on the wall. Then you get a wallpaper overlay, which would be the trimming. So like you'd have the molding separately that you'd paint over the top. Because the reason I came up with that was because I was trying to do the walls in the house, and I'm like, man, this molding doesn't match the other one on this wallpaper, and this wallpaper just doesn't have it. These colors, it's like, if you could just overlay it, it'd be so useful. But I just don't think that would happen. But it'd be a cool idea if it did. So basically just transparent overlays for wallpapers. So basically double wallpapering a single wall, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, so there is a wishing well. I wasn't sure if we put it in this house or not. I was originally going to put it here, around in this little driveway area, but it didn't really make sense. But right here, I really love this. So that fountain, which I don't think I've ever gotten to use because I've never had a place to put it. It was so perfect here. Like, fits in really, really nicely. It almost becomes like a bit of a roundabout for the driveway. So if you were driving in and needed to turn out, that was like perfect. Now the wishing well over here didn't make sense because I think it looked really good in that area. But if you're gonna have a well, you probably want it as close to like the farms and that as possible. So I almost just put it under I put it under those trees, and like I tried to hide it. So basically, maybe it was overgrown. It's no longer used because obviously this day and age you don't really need to use the well. But it's an old well that used to be there, and maybe now it's just they haven't really maintained it, so it's overgrown. So that's where I put it, and I hid it away. Also because it doesn't look particularly great in the middle in the open. So for this house anyway, I don't think it really fits this house that well. So doing that I think worked quite well. Now at the front, I wanted it to be really open still. Like I didn't want to close it all in, but I wanted to have a nice defined line between the front of the lot and the driveway. So we used these really nice tall trees here and just some shrubs, and it keeps it super open, but also provides that sort of element of separation between the road and the house and the property, rather than just doing a straight up fence or just leaving it straight open, really. And then we're just going through, and I think just doing a little bit more landscaping on some terrain painting. But you can see now that the exterior of the lot has pretty much come together. Obviously, there's a lot more to do on the exterior. There's a lot of like sort of exterior furnishing that we do that comes later on. But for the first video on this house, I guess, of the build, this is the exterior, but we're gonna have a look in game just quick as well to see how it looks. Okay, so here we are in the game. I don't actually have any screenshots, so that's why I've just like sort of loaded up the lot. But this is basically what we've ended up with in the house so far. So we can see we have, like I said, the interior is just there's just nothing there yet, not even considered at all at this point. But we have pretty much the basics of the outside done. If you have seen the house tour, we obviously add a few things here and there, a few little bits and pieces. But honestly, for the most part, it's probably, ignore all those trees missing. That's just because I replaced a lot. They're actually there. And those ones too. Just sorry about that. Sorry about that. Ignore that one. Yeah, so we have, there's a column missing there too. Wow, this lot didn't place well. I've recorded this way after. Sorry. But you get the sort of general idea and gist of the house. But yeah, so I wanted to do pretty much all the outside, like I said, and then we can figure out how the inside looks from this. There's still lots to go on the outside, still lots to go on the inside, so stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I think the plan for the rest of this house is we'll try and do it in parts, in terms of like we'll do like a kitchen build video, maybe garage and all that, because that's where we start. But it all comes together really nice. I'm super excited. I really enjoy this house. I think it turned out so well. It's so much fun to build. It's so much fun for you guys to watch along as I built as well and give your feedback, because a lot of this came together thanks to you guys in the live chat and coming up with ideas with me and sort of working together in that way. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to comment down below what you think of this house. Oh, by the way, if you want to download it, it is already available. The whole completed house. If you want to make over it, do so. It'll be cool to see it. And if you make it over, send me a tweet of it, or I don't know, some other way, some other method of contacting me. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and have an awesome day.